Kamen Rider Zeztz episode 3 might be giving us too much of a good thing. There's definitely things I liked about it, but there were some things that I didn't like and I'd like for them to change for the whole series. I doubt they're going to, so that'll be a constant complaint for me going forward. Overall, I did like the episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought there were some good things going on there. What we saw from Nem was a little bit interesting. What we saw from the villain's perspective was interesting, and Mr. Fujimi's resolution of his issue was good. And I like that it honestly sets him up for being very involved in things going forward. And I think it did that very well. It set up the nightmares as a real scary threat, especially because they can leak out into the world and cause damage there. And it gives our hero, Baku, even more necessity, even higher stakes to be good at what he does. And as of right now, he's the only one, so he's got to do a good job. Those are my overall thoughts real quick, but getting into it fully, I have a lot more things to say. What did I find disappointing about this episode? I find the muscle effects that they do on Impact excessive and dumb and silly. They're gilding the lily. They've already, I think in all three of these first episodes, they put Zeztz in the darkness so that his suit can light up and show off those cool light up panels, which I think those are practical effects. I do not think that's digital. It could be done digitally afterwards, but when the eyes swirl and flush as he transforms, I do believe that is a digital effect. But besides that, I would think the lights on the mask, on the helmet, as well as all over the suit are all practical, and they look fantastic, honestly. They really do look good. Gives me a Fies vibe. I think I've said that before, so I won't say it again. Hopefully I'll remember not to say it again. But the suit design is really good. It's very slick. It has the big sculpted muscles in it, which I think look great. I think turning the lung or the armor from the chest and abdomen area of the original Kamen Rider into I don't remember if it was just in Shin Kamen Rider they called it the lung, like the prana lung or whatever, or if that's in the original as well. I know it's the O-ring is on the forehead. His mouth is the crusher. I know some details like that. And the belt is called the typhoon. And the bike is the cyclone. Like, I know some of those things, but I just don't remember if there's a particular name for the armor chest pieces that he has on his torso. Anyway, but here they've turned into awesome looking abs. Like, I mean, it looks great. It looks very muscular, very Western superhero, very slick, very modern. And yet it still feels like it fits in line with Kamen Rider 1, which is great because Kamen Rider 1 is fantastic. It's such a great design, so simple, so sleek. And this takes it and gives it just a modern veneer, which again, I think is wonderful. I'll always go back to Kamen Rider, the original being great, the manga, the anime, or not the anime, but the show. I haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched about a third of it, but the third I saw was amazing. So, anyway, getting back on this, the bulging muscles and those effects they stink and I don't like them. That's how I feel about them. We've got they do like pulsing veins. I think I've already talked about the capsule thing. I think is dumb. I like what the capsules do overall, like this transform one that we got to see featured this episode, which also was featured last episode when he swept the legs. He swept the leg on that truck and caused it to flip over by making his leg spiky. He can pretty much transform his body however he wants to with this transform thing. It feels a little OP, but I don't mind it. Yeah, I just don't mind it. I liked him catching the fireball in the lattice that he made of his 8 fingers overlapping with each other and throwing it back at the guy at Bomb. That was really cool. At the Bomb Nightmare, I guess is what he'd be called. That was really cool. But it's just too much. You're gilding the lily. It's like ridiculous. And it's odd that he can, like, in the last episode he slapped the ground and caused like the walls to close in on the nightmare, and then the nightmare did it back to him, and he didn't need a special capsule for that. All he had was impact. I think that's his main one. And he was able to do that stuff, and he even like pulled a section of wall and like used it to shield himself, so he can transform his environment based on the fact that he's a Kamen Rider in a dream or whatever. So why is it necessary for him to then have a separate toy that you can sell, which is called Transform, which transforms his body? And why does it have to be a weird 8-bit animated Pokeball thing? Like, I don't know. It's not for me. Anyway, I like the idea of the power balls, but just do them differently. But yeah, so getting back to it, it's gilding the lily. It's way too much. However, watching him actually use transform in this fight was super cool. I like how he did all sorts of things to his body. He did extendo punches. He made his feet into weird flippers to kick the guy, and then ultimately at the end he stabbed him. I don't quite get the logic behind the feint. I don't know what Baku was doing there. I understand that he was able to disarm the bomb. Was he doing it to distract him and think, oh, you missed? Like, he didn't even say you missed. He just laughed, which, whatever. It's definitely not necessary to have the exchange of you missed and then him follow up with no, I didn't, or I wasn't aiming for you, or whatever. Um, like, I guess it's cliche by this point, so you don't have to do it, but whatever. Um, but it was really cool. I love the fact that he steps into, that is, Fujimi steps into the nightmare, that it turns into a friggin' door. That's awesome. It looks so good, looks so cool. I hope they do that effect. It looks to me like they built something for him to go into, which would be amazing. Even if they had like a generic body silhouette that they built that opens and closes and that a person can walk through, and then they just like skin it or whatever with AI. They skin it with AI to do an AI effect. I'd be cool with that. Anyway, but yeah, that'd be fun if they keep doing that. It doesn't have to be. I mean, I don't know. Why not? Why not do that every time? If he's gonna do the henshin thing every single time, then why not have the door open for the person to walk through every single time? I'd be cool with that. Anyway, I liked it. It was great. Um, but yeah, the action, the fighting was fun. Um, and I liked this more emotional side. I liked it getting a little more introspective, seeing why Fujimi is fed up with the police and why he thinks that at least he. Anyway, I understand his frustration with the police and with the brass. I really do like that by the end of the episode, because this, like, they're in the middle of a black case and he tells his police chief, "You better start believing in black cases. You're in one." That because of this huge explosion that they can't. I think they said they couldn't trace any source of the like they didn't see anybody coming to the building planting the explosives, and they couldn't tell like what the explosives were. So they're not like, it's not C4, it's not whatever, it's dream bomb power, I guess. So they have to figure that out, and that's going to create a problem for them. And that in itself is making a bigger black case, or a better black case for Fujimi to use for justifying the existence of his department. And I imagine that that's what we're going to see in the following episode, or in the future. Maybe it'll take a couple episodes for it to be reinstated. They're opening back up the X Files, and for them to be involved with that. So I like that. I like the stories being set up, and then there's even more story setup stuff, which is that this first, like I assume, first breakthrough of a nightmare, does this weird thing with these butterflies and the moon changing, at least for the audience's perspective, if not in the real world. And these butterfly things go out all over the place. That Mr. Knox is his name, I think. We got Nem and Knox, something like it, or Knocked, I don't know, whatever. We have him, celebrating that these things are out there, and it seems like he's suggesting that it affected some big change in the world. I want to see what that is. I want to know what the consequences are, and I like that we have all this setup going, and I think it's really tidy. And I think not only was it done so artistically, but it was also done so neatly and like efficiently. So I'm pleased with where the setup of the story is now. I have my issues with some of the aesthetics that they're choosing to go with. But another thing is, speaking of the aesthetics, the way that the dream logic works, all the cuts, all the, I'm walking towards you here and then you're walking towards me in the reverse shot, and a lot of the like cinematography in the dreams is really nice. And I hope they keep up those kind of weird cuts to help it feel like a dream, to help it feel wrong in a certain way, like wrong but consistent, like very sloppy. Very sloppy. What's the thing that they call continuity? Like very sloppy continuity as far as the filming is concerned, because that would make sense with a dream. And like I said, I think that would be good. And then that'll help it to be differentiated from the real world transformations and such. So I like that. And the only thing I didn't like is that, another thing I didn't like is that Zero, through the bike robot thing, says, "I had to drive you here." He like drove him there in his sleep in his bed, but then he drove towards him. Like the bike should have just been standing there. That was a weird thing. Had that happened in the dream, that would be okay, but it happened in the real world, which doesn't really make sense. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm still enjoying it. This is good stuff. And let's see the next one. I'd love to hear what you thought about it. Do you agree with me that it's too much? They're pushing some of the effect stuff too much with the bulging muscles and veins and things like that? Or do you like it and you think it's really cool? And then what do you think about the lore stuff that's going on here? Because I think that's fascinating. I almost forgot to mention one big moment. One thing that I really liked was that when they're in the real world and Baku has to fight on his own and he's having trouble transforming, he's scared and he's desperate, and yet he's still trying. Like, he's showing real courage and real bravery, and he's showing real grit and determination to do the right thing and to save this person and to save other people, even at the cost of his own life. And I mean, he's not killing himself to save them. He's putting himself in harm's way. He's trying to get the belt. The bomb is beating him up, and he's still going after it. And it looked really cool. And I love the desperation in the sense of struggle and skill. And we get to see, like, this is the kind of character arc stuff I want to see with him. Him being kind of, I don't know. I complained about his character setup previously, and I still stand by that, but this is much better. This kind of setting him low to go high, putting him at disadvantage in this way to see him grow and to have an arc and to become a cooler character. This is what I'm talking about. I want to see this kind of stuff where he's struggling and he's not instantly competent. He's not amazing on his own. He has to learn those things and he has to become this great hero, great aspirational figure. I like that. And they did a good job with that in this episode. So thank you, Yu Takahashi. Until next time, this is MJ signing out for Writer Tears and Henshin Inspection, and I want to let you know my dream is to be a full-time author. I'm actually working on a Tokusatsu series right now that I want to serialize, but my current book out right now is called Mock Ring Mayhem. It's about magical bugs battling monsters, and you can check out the trailer for it here. Magical bugs battle monsters in this exciting fantasy adventure. Gremlings prey upon children. Growbugs protect them. When a gremling finds a hidden growbug fort, the whole flock makes a surprise attack. How will the growbugs survive? Find out in Mockwing Mayhem. Learn more at growbugs.com, where you can find out more about our mailing list, receive behind-the-scenes information, and get all the latest news on the growbugs.